The classroom was cold. At least that was what the temperature display said. 15 degrees, cold enough that most species wore extra layers. But Daeho sat in his usual seat wearing just a thin shirt, taking notes like nothing was wrong. Vix watched him from across the room. Her crystalline skin shifted to a pale yellow color. Confusion. She had been watching the human students for 3 weeks now, and nothing made sense. They did not react to things the way other species did. They did not show pain. They did not complain about discomfort. They just existed, as if their bodies did not send them signals at all. Professor Aldrich, a tall being from the planet Morthos, stood at the front of the xenobiology class. Today's lesson was about pain responses across different species. How convenient, Vix thought. Pain is universal, the professor said, his voice deep and slow. Every species with a nervous system experiences it. Pain keeps us alive. It tells us when something is wrong. It makes us stop doing harmful things. He activated a display showing different species and their pain thresholds. Threxians, like Vix, had sensitive pain receptors. They felt even small injuries strongly. This helped them get treatment quickly. Morgathians released pheromones automatically when hurt. Shirix made clicking sounds that alerted the whole colony. Every species had a way to express pain immediately. Now, Professor Aldrich said, "Who would like to volunteer for a demonstration?" Daeho raised his hand. "I will." Vix's skin flashed orange. Surprise. The human volunteered quickly without hesitation. She leaned forward to watch. The professor brought out a device that applied pressure to a limb. It started gentle and slowly increased. Numbers on a screen showed the pressure level from 1 to 10. 1 was barely noticeable. 10 was extremely painful. "Please tell us when you begin to feel discomfort," the professor said. Daeho placed his arm in the device. The pressure started. Level 1. Level 2. At level 3, Kel, the Morgathian student, said he would stop there. His pheromones already showed distress. At level 4, Vix knew she would be crying out. That was her species' limit for pressure pain. But Daeho said nothing. His face stayed calm. Level 5. Level 6. The other students started shifting in their seats. This was already beyond what most of them could handle. Level 7. Still nothing from the human. At level 8, Daeho finally spoke. His voice was steady, almost casual. "That is starting to hurt a bit. Starting to hurt a bit." Vix's skin turned bright red. Anger. She stood up. "This is impossible," she said loudly. "You are lying. You must be lying. No one can handle level 8 pressure and call it a bit of hurt." Daeho looked at her, his expression confused. "I am not lying. It does hurt, but I can handle it, so I did not see a reason to mention it earlier." "Not mention it?" Tala, the Chirix student, clicked her mandibles rapidly. That was how her species showed distress. "Pain is supposed to be mentioned immediately. That is basic biology." The professor released the pressure on Daeho's arm. The human pulled it back and rubbed it slightly, then went back to his seat as if nothing important had happened. The rest of the class turned into chaos. Alien students demanded explanations. How could humans not react to pain? Were their nerves broken? Were they using some kind of technology to block pain signals? Were they simply lying to look tough? Vix was convinced it was the last option. "Humans are faking it," she told Kel and Tala after class. "They want us to think they are strong. They want to seem superior, but why?" Kel asked. His pheromones showed confusion. "What do they gain from this?" "Respect," Vix said firmly. "Fear. They are a new species here. They want to establish dominance." Tala was not so sure. She had studied psychology. She knew that behavior always had reasons, but those reasons were not always obvious. "Maybe we should observe them more carefully," she suggested. "Learn what they are really doing." Over the next few days, the alien students watched the humans closely. They saw Minji, an engineering student, working in the workshop. She was building something complex with her hands. At one point, a tool slipped and cut her finger. Blood appeared. She looked at it for a moment, wrapped a cloth around it, and kept working. No cry of pain. No calling for help, just a cloth and back to work. They saw Hyunwoo, another human, in the training center. He was practicing martial arts. His movements were sharp and controlled. But Tala noticed something. His right arm moved differently than his left. Carefully, protectively. She checked the medical records later with permission. His arm was broken, a stress fracture that happened 2 weeks ago. He was training with a broken arm, and he had not taken medical leave. When asked about it, Hyunwoo just shrugged. It is healing. I can still do most things. No reason to stop training. The evidence was piling up. Either humans genuinely did not feel pain the way other species did, or they were incredibly good at hiding it. But why would anyone hide pain? It made no evolutionary sense. Vix called a meeting with other alien students. 20 of them gathered in a study room. The topic was simple: the human problem. They are either broken or lying, a Zenthari student said. There is no third option. What if there is? Tala asked quietly. What if humans are different in a way we do not understand yet? Different how? Vix demanded. Pain is pain. You feel it, you show it, you get help. That is how every species works. Every species we know so far, Tala corrected. But humans come from a different world, a different evolutionary path. Maybe their path made them respond differently. But most students did not believe that. The consensus was clear. Humans were either using technology to fake their toughness or they were genuinely damaged somehow. Either way, it was not natural. It was not right. And it needed to be exposed. Vix proposed a plan. They would create situations that caused discomfort. Nothing harmful, just uncomfortable. Then they would watch the humans' reactions. If humans were faking, they would eventually slip up. They would show their real responses when they thought no one important was watching. The plan was set. Over the next week, they would test the humans. And they would prove once and for all that humans were frauds. What the alien students did not understand yet was that humans were not faking anything. They genuinely felt every bit of pain, every discomfort, every injury. They just had learned over millions of years of evolution to do something that seemed impossible to other species. They had learned to keep going anyway. The plan started on a Tuesday morning. Vix and 3 other students accessed the environmental controls for the human dormitory section. Nothing dangerous, just uncomfortable. They raised the temperature to 35 degrees. They adjusted the humidity higher. They made the air feel thick and heavy. Then they waited. Surely the humans would complain immediately. Surely they would call maintenance. Surely they would demand to know why their living area felt like a swamp. 2 hours passed. No complaints. Vix checked the monitoring system. The humans were definitely in their rooms. The temperature was definitely high. But no one said anything. Finally, at lunch, Vix saw Daeho in the cafeteria. She walked up to him, trying to look casual. "How is your dormitory today?" she asked. Daeho looked up from his food. "A bit warm," he said. "The climate control must be acting up." I opened a window. A bit warm. 35 degrees, high humidity, and he called it a bit warm. Vix's skin turned purple. Frustration. Over the next 3 days, they tried other things. They added a low-frequency sound to the human dormitory at night. Not loud enough to violate noise regulations, but annoying enough that it should disturb sleep. They adjusted the chairs in the human common area to be slightly uneven. They put a mild irritant in the air filters, something that made breathing just a little bit harder. The results baffled them. Minji mentioned the chairs were quirky but kept using them anyway. Hyunwoo said he was sleeping fine, though Tala noticed dark circles under his eyes. When asked about the air quality, Daeho said it felt a little stuffy, so he had been taking walks outside more often. A little stuffy. Dark circles but sleeping fine. Quirky chairs. These were not the responses of people experiencing discomfort. Or rather, they were not the responses any normal species would have. "This proves they are faking it," Vix insisted to the group. "They know we are watching, they are trying to impress us." "But how would they know we are watching?" Kel asked. His pheromones showed doubt. Tala said nothing. She had been observing more carefully than the others. She noticed things. Small things. The way Minji's hand trembled slightly when she picked up her cup. The way Hyunwoo's breathing changed when he moved too quickly. The way Daeho rubbed his temples when he thought no one was looking. These were not signs of comfort. These were signs of someone dealing with discomfort but not mentioning it. But why? Why would anyone do that? The answer came during an engineering practical class. The students were working in a zero-gravity chamber, learning to handle equipment in space conditions. Safety protocols were strict. Everyone wore protective gear. Everyone followed the procedures. But equipment malfunctions happen. A piece of machinery broke free from its mounting. It spun through the chamber, fast and heavy. It hit Minji's leg with a solid, terrible sound that made everyone stop what they were doing. The alien students gasped. They had all studied physics. They could calculate force and momentum. That impact should have shattered bone. That impact should have caused screaming. Minji tumbled through the zero-gravity space, spinning slowly. She reached out, grabbed a handhold and steadied herself. Then she said in a calm voice, "Ow, that is going to bruise." That was all. Just ow, and a comment about bruising. She pulled herself back to her workstation and tried to continue the exercise. Daeho, who was working nearby, pushed himself over to her. His face was serious. "Minji, stop, let me check your leg." "It is fine," she said. "Just a knock. We are almost done with the exercise." "Minji." His voice was firm now. "Let me check." She sighed but let him examine her leg. He pulled out a medical scanner from the emergency kit. He ran it over the impact site. His expression changed. He looked up at the instructor. "Her tibia is fractured. Clean break. She needs medical attention immediately." The chamber went silent. The instructor rushed over. Other students stared. Minji looked down at her leg, then back up at Daeho. "Oh," she said. "I thought it was just a bad knock. Can we finish the practical first? We are almost done. Can we finish first?" Her leg was broken and she wanted to finish the class exercise first. "No," Daeho said firmly. "Medical bay. Now." They took her to the medical bay. The alien students followed, too shocked to stay behind. The doctor, a Zenthari with 6 arms, examined Minji with growing disbelief. "The bone is broken completely through," the doctor said. "This should be causing extreme pain. Why did you not scream? Why did you not call for help immediately?" Minji shrugged with one shoulder. "It hurt, but I could still move. I thought it was just bruised. No big deal." "No big deal?" The doctor's voice was high with shock. "You have a fractured tibia. This is very much a big deal." The doctor began treatment. The alien students watched the medical scanner displays. They showed pain levels, numbers, objective data. Minji's pain reading was at 7.8 out of 10. Severe pain, the kind of pain that should make someone unable to think about anything else. But Minji was chatting with the doctor, asking questions about how long healing would take, whether she could still attend classes when she could go back to the workshop. Vix's skin cycled through colors rapidly. Confusion, shock, fear. This was not faking. The scanner did not lie. Minji was genuinely in severe pain, but she was talking, moving, thinking clearly, acting like the pain was a minor inconvenience. How was this possible? After Minji was settled with her leg in a healing brace, the alien students gathered outside the medical bay. No one spoke for a long moment. What they had seen challenged everything they knew about biology, about pain, about how living beings functioned. "She was not faking," Kel said finally. His pheromones showed confusion and fear. The scanner showed her pain. It was real. But her reaction was not real. "Her reaction was real too," Tala said quietly. "That is what we are not understanding. For her, that was a real response to a broken leg." "That makes no sense," Vix protested. But her skin was pale blue now. Uncertainty. Why would evolution create a species that does not respond properly to injury? "Maybe," Tala said slowly, "it is not about not responding properly. Maybe it is about responding differently. Maybe on their world showing pain was dangerous, or maybe pushing through pain was necessary for survival." The others considered this. It was a disturbing thought. What kind of world would make it beneficial to hide pain? What kind of evolution would reward pushing through injury? The answer would come soon, but it would not come in a classroom or a laboratory. It would come during a crisis when human and alien students faced real danger together, and the aliens would learn that humans were not faking strength. They were genuinely terrifying. The emergency alarm started at 3:47 in the morning. Loud, urgent, the kind of sound that made everyone jump out of bed with their hearts racing. All Students proceed to evacuation points, the automated voice said. This is not a drill. Solar flare has compromised station shields. Repeat, this is not a drill. In the dormitories, chaos erupted. Students grabbed emergency packs and ran for the evacuation routes. The station shook. Lights flickered. Somewhere in the distance, an explosion echoed through the corridors. Vix ran down the hallway with other Threxian students. Her skin flashed white with fear. Behind her, she heard someone calling for help. She turned. A younger Threxian student had fallen. The floor had buckled, trapping her leg between twisted metal panels. Vix tried to pull the metal apart. It would not move. She was not strong enough. Other students ran past, heading for safety. The station shook again. Another explosion, closer this time. Then someone was beside her. Deho. He had come from the opposite direction, toward the danger instead of away from it. Move back, he said calmly. He grabbed the metal panel with both hands and pulled. The muscles in his arms stood out. His face showed strain. The metal bent slightly. Not enough. Smoke began filling the corridor. Thick, toxic, the kind that burned lungs. Vix's eyes watered. She coughed. Daiho did not stop pulling at the metal. The smoke was getting worse. It touched his skin where his shirt did not cover it. Vix saw red marks appearing. Chemical burns. You need to go, Vix said. The smoke is burning you. Almost got it, Daiho said. His voice was steady, focused. He pulled harder. The metal bent more. Finally, enough space opened. Pull her out now. Vix pulled the young student free. The girl was crying, scared but not badly hurt. Daiho took one of her arms. Vix took the other. Together they moved down the corridor, away from the smoke and fire. As they ran, Vix saw Daiho's exposed skin. The burns were worse than she thought. Blisters, raw red flesh. The pain must have been terrible. But he kept moving, kept helping carry the injured student, kept his breathing controlled. They reached an evacuation point. Medical staff were there, triaging injuries. Vix tried to pull Daiho toward them. I am okay, he said. They need to help her first. He gestured to the Threxian student. You are burned. Vix said. You need treatment. Later, others need help more. He turned and went back into the damaged sections. Back toward the danger. Vix stood there, shocked. She looked at a nearby monitor showing biometric data from all the emergency responders. Daiho's vitals were there. His pain level showed 9.2 out of 10, 9.2. That should have made him unconscious. That should have sent him into shock. But he had just run back into danger to help more people. In another section of the station, Minji was facing her own crisis. She had been in the engineering workshop when the alarm started. Now a bulkhead door was damaged, stuck halfway open. It led to a corridor that other students needed to use to escape. If it closed, they would be trapped. Minji grabbed the door with both hands. Her leg, the one with the fracture that was still healing, screamed in protest as she braced herself. She pushed against the door mechanism, keeping it open. Go, she shouted to the students behind her. Get through. I will hold it. 1 student, 2, 5, 10, they ran through the gap. The door mechanism was fighting her, trying to close. Minji's arms shook with effort. Her leg was on fire with pain, but she did not let go. Tala was the last one through. The Chirix student stopped on the other side, staring at Minji through the gap. Your leg, Tala clicked. I can see your biometric data on my scanner. You are at 8.8 pain level. You need to let go. Not until everyone is through, Minji said. Her face was twisted in agony now. She was not hiding it anymore. Could not hide it. But she still did not let go. Are there more coming? No, that was everyone. Please, let go. You are hurting yourself. Minji released the door. It slammed shut immediately. She collapsed against the wall, breathing hard. Her leg was not supporting her weight properly anymore. The healing fracture had broken again. Tala helped her move away from the damaged section. As they went, the Chirix student kept glancing at her scanner, at the numbers that showed just how much pain Minji was in. Numbers that should have meant unconsciousness. But Minji was still moving, still talking, still functioning. Hyunwoo found them on his way to an evacuation pod. His broken arm was worse now. During the initial explosion, falling debris had hit it, but he had been helping students evacuate, using his good arm to pull people through gaps, his injured arm hanging useless at his side. Can you walk? He asked Minji. Barely, she admitted. Hold on to my good shoulder. Tala, you support her other side. We need to move, fast. They moved through the damaged station together. Around them, more humans were helping with evacuation efforts, carrying injured students, securing loose equipment, fighting fires, all while their biometric readings showed pain levels that should have disabled them. The alien students saw it all. They watched humans function through injuries that would have killed some species and completely disabled others. They saw humans making decisions, solving problems, saving lives, all while in states of extreme physical distress. Finally, everyone reached the evacuation pods. The station was being abandoned. Too much damage, too dangerous to stay. As the pods launched carrying students to safety, the medical teams began treating the injured. Daeho was still refusing treatment, saying others were worse off. A doctor, an older human woman named Dr. Kwan, had to order him to sit down. "Daeho," she said firmly, "you have chemical burns over 30% of your body. Sit down now." He sat. The medical scanners lit up with alerts as they read his condition. The alien medical staff stared at the numbers in disbelief. "How is he conscious?" a Zinthari doctor asked. "These pain levels should have triggered shock response. He should be unable to function." Dr. Kwan sighed. "He is human. We can function through a lot, sometimes too much." Nearby, Minji was being treated for her refractured leg. Hyunwoo sat with his arm being set properly this time. The medical bay was full of humans who had pushed themselves to the absolute limit, and beyond Vix found Daeho after his burns were treated and bandaged. She sat beside him, her skin shifting through colors. She did not know what to say. Finally, she spoke. "I am sorry. I thought you were faking. I thought humans were liars. But you are not faking anything, are you?" Daeho looked tired. "Very tired. No, we feel everything. Every bit of pain, every injury. We learned to keep going anyway. On Earth, stopping meant death. For you, for your family, for your tribe. So we evolved to push through, to function even when our bodies were screaming at us to stop." "That is horrible," Vic said quietly. "Sometimes," Daeho agreed. "But today it was useful. Today it saved lives." Tala joined them. Behind her came Kel and other alien students who had witnessed what happened. They all looked at the humans with new eyes. Not suspicion anymore, not distrust. Something else. Awe, maybe, and concern. "You saved us," Tala said. "You ran into danger. You held doors. You carried injured students. All while in pain that should have made it impossible." "We did what needed doing," Minji said from her bed. "That is all." "That is all?" Kel's pheromones showed confusion and amazement. "You make it sound simple." "But it is not simple. It is extraordinary. Or dangerous," Dr. Kwan added. She was checking on her human patients. "This is why we need you all. You aliens, you species that show pain immediately. You can tell when we push too far, because we will push too far. We cannot always tell when to stop." The alien students understood then. Humans were not faking, but they were not invincible either. They could function through terrible pain, yes. But functioning through pain did not mean the pain was not damaging them. It did not mean they did not need help. They just would not ask for it. Not until someone else was safe first. 3 weeks after the station emergency, the academy reopened in a temporary facility. Classes resumed. But everything had changed. The alien students could not stop talking about what they had witnessed. The humans who ran into fire. The humans who held doors while their bones broke. The humans who functioned through pain that should have killed them. Vix organized a meeting. She stood in front of a room full of students from a dozen different species. Her skin was a steady blue, calm and serious. "I was wrong about humans," she said. "I thought they were lying. I thought they were trying to trick us. But they were not lying. They just experience pain differently than we do, and I need to understand why." She invited the human students to give presentations, to explain their species, to help everyone understand. Daeho went first. His burns were still healing, bandages visible on his arms. He stood at the front of the lecture hall and brought up images of Earth. "Earth is a dangerous world," he began. "When humans evolved, we were not the strongest species. We were not the fastest. We did not have claws or armor or venom. What we had was endurance." He showed videos of persistence hunting, humans following animals for hours, days. The animals were faster. They ran away. But humans kept coming, kept walking, kept running slowly but steadily. The animals got tired, overheated, eventually collapsed, and the humans still going caught them. We evolved to keep going, Deho explained. Even when our muscles hurt. Even when our feet bled. Even when our bodies said stop. Because stopping meant starving. Stopping meant death. The alien students watched in horrified fascination. One raised a hand. But pain is a warning signal, the student said. If you ignore pain, you make injuries worse. How did you survive? We do not ignore pain, Daiho corrected. We feel it. We know it is there. But we learn to evaluate it. Is this pain dangerous right now? Will it kill me today? No? Then I can deal with it later. That ability kept our ancestors alive long enough to have children. And those children inherited the same ability. Minji went next. She walked with a cane now, her leg still recovering. She talked about human culture and training. We teach our children to push through discomfort, she said. When a child falls and gets hurt, parents say, walk it off. Keep going. You are okay. Athletes train through pain. Soldiers learn to fight while injured. Workers push through sickness to support their families. She showed examples. Marathon runners with blisters. Construction workers in extreme heat. Mountain climbers with frostbite. All continuing. All functioning. We even have sayings about it, Minji continued. No pain, no gain. Pain is weakness leaving the body. What does not kill you makes you stronger. Our entire culture reinforces the idea that pushing through pain is good. Noble, strong. Tala clicked her mandibles thoughtfully. She was beginning to understand. But she was also concerned Hyunwoo was the last to speak. His arm was in a proper cast now, being forced to heal correctly. He talked about the dark side of human pain tolerance. This ability can kill us, he said bluntly. Humans die because we ignore warning signs. We have heart attacks and keep working. We have appendicitis and wait too long to see a doctor. We break bones and keep walking on them, making the damage worse. He brought up statistics. Thousands of humans dying each year from treatable conditions because they minimized their symptoms. Because they said they were fine when they were not. Because asking for help felt weak. What saved my ancestors on the savannah kills us in modern life, Hyunwoo continued. When medical help is available, when rest is possible, we still push through. Because that is what we are built to do, and it hurts us. The room was silent. The alien students were processing this information. It was so different from their own experiences. Then the humans asked questions about alien species. They wanted to understand too. Vix explained Threxian biology. Her people evolved on a world with aggressive microorganisms. A small cut could become a deadly infection in hours. So Threxians evolved to show pain immediately and intensely. This made the group respond fast. Clean the wound, treat it, prevent infection. For us, hiding pain is fatal, Vix said. If you do not show you are hurt, no one helps you. And then you die. We are built the opposite of humans. Kel talked about Morgathians. His species communicated through pheromones. They could not hide their physical state even if they wanted to. Their bodies automatically broadcast pain, fear, hunger, everything. It is impossible for us to understand hiding pain, Kel admitted. It would be like asking you to stop your heart from beating. Our pheromones are not voluntary. Tala explained Chirik society. They lived in colonies where every individual mattered. If one was hurt and did not signal it, the whole colony could be in danger. They evolved to make loud clicking sounds when in pain, automatically alerting everyone nearby. For us, pain communication is about colony survival, Tala said. Individual suffering affects the group, so we share it immediately. As the discussions continued, both sides learned something important. There was no right or wrong way to handle pain. There were just different strategies that evolved in different environments. Each strategy made sense for the species that developed it, but understanding created a new problem. How could they all live and work together when their needs were so different? The Academy administration formed a committee. Human and alien students worked together to create new protocols. First, mandatory biometric monitoring for humans during physical activities. Since humans would not report pain reliably, sensors would do it for them. If pain levels got too high, automatic alerts would go to medical staff. Second, regular check-ins using numerical scales. Humans had to rate their pain from 1 to 10 twice a day. They could not just say they were fine. They had to give numbers. Third, education for alien students on subtle human pain signals, the micro-expressions, the slight changes in movement, the unconscious protective behaviors, things humans did without realizing when they were hurt. Fourth, education for humans on asking for help. workshops on recognizing when pain was a warning that needed immediate attention, training on communicating needs to alien friends who could not read human subtlety. The protocols worked. Slowly, both groups learned to bridge the gap. Minji partnered with Vix on a project. Vix learned that when Minji said she was at a 3 on the pain scale, that meant she was uncomfortable but functional. A 5 meant she was hurting but could work. A 7 meant she really needed help even though she would not ask for it. Daeho became friends with Kel. Kel's pheromones helped Daeho recognize when he was pushing too hard. When Kel smelled stress chemicals from Daeho even though Daeho said he was fine, Kel would insist on a break. Tala studied human psychology and wrote papers about pain tolerance. Her work helped other species understand humans better. It also helped humans understand themselves. Many humans at the Academy started therapy to work through their tendency to minimize their own needs. Months passed. The temporary facility became permanent. The mixed species student body grew closer. They celebrated their differences instead of fearing them. But they all knew this was just the beginning. The real test would come when they faced danger again, when theory had to become practice, when understanding had to translate into survival. That test was coming sooner than any of them expected. The planet was supposed to be safe. Kepler 442c, newly discovered, uninhabited, perfect for a student research mission. The Academy sent a mixed team to collect samples and conduct surveys. 8 students went. 2 humans, Daeho and Minji, 6 aliens, Vix, Tala, Kel, and 3 others. Professor Xanoth, a Zenthari, led the mission. They landed in a valley surrounded by mountains. The base camp was established quickly. Equipment was unpacked. Research began. Everything was going well. The planet had high gravity, 1.6 times what most species were used to. The atmosphere was toxic without suits. The temperature swung from very cold to very hot. But these were known challenges. Everyone had trained for them. On the 5th day, the ground shook. Not much, just a tremor. Everyone stopped working, waited. The shaking stopped. They went back to work. Then it happened again. Harder. The ground split open. Equipment fell into the crack. The students ran, trying to get away from the opening chasm. Behind them, something erupted. Not lava. Gas. Superheated toxic gas that filled the valley like fog. The students' environmental suits protected them, but barely. The gas found weaknesses. Small tears. Worn seals. It seeped in. It burned. Emergency cache. Professor Xanoth shouted through the communication system. 15 kilometers north. That is our only chance. 15 kilometers. In high gravity. Through toxic air. With damaged suits. Half their equipment was gone. Some students were injured from the ground collapse. But there was no choice. Stay here and die. Or walk and maybe live. They walked. The first hour was manageable. Everyone stayed together. Everyone kept pace. But the high gravity was relentless. Each step was harder than normal. Muscles worked overtime. Energy drained fast. The second hour, students started slowing down. One of the Zenthari students fell. His species was not built for this gravity. Daeho helped him up, let him lean on his shoulder. They kept moving. By the 3rd hour, pain was universal. Everyone hurt. The high gravity crushed joints. The temperature extremes stressed their bodies. The toxic gas leaked into suits and burned exposed skin. Vix's crystalline skin was cracking from temperature stress. Each crack hurt intensely. She cried out with every step. But she kept moving because she had no choice. Kel's pheromones were broadcasting distress so strongly that everyone could smell them even through suit filters. His species was not built for endurance. He was suffering. Tala's exoskeleton was designed for her home planet's lower gravity. Here it felt like she was carrying twice her weight. Every joint screamed. She clicked constantly in pain. Professor Xanoth collapsed at hour 4. The elderly professor could not continue. His hearts were failing in the high gravity and stress. He lay on the ground breathing hard. Go, he whispered. Leave me. Save yourselves. No, Daeho said. He checked his biometric monitor. Pain level 8.5. The toxic gas had eaten through his suit in 3 places. Burns covered his arms and chest. But he bent down and lifted the professor onto his back. We leave no one. Minji was limping badly. Her old leg injury was screaming in the high gravity. Her biometric showed 7.8. But she moved to help another struggling student, a young Threxian who could barely walk. I can carry her, Minji said. We need to keep moving. Vix watched them. Deho with a full-grown Zenthari on his back. Minji supporting a Threxian student. Both humans were in severe pain. She could see it on their faces now. They were not hiding it anymore. Could not hide it. But they kept moving. Hour 5. The temperature dropped. Minus 40 degrees. The students shivered in their suits. Frost formed on face shields. Breathing became harder. Hour 6. The temperature rose. 60 degrees. The inside of the suits became ovens. Sweat poured. Dehydration set in. Several students were hallucinating. Tala fell. She could not get up. Her legs would not respond. Deho was already carrying the professor. Minji was supporting the Threxian. There was no one left with strength to spare. Deho looked at Minji. They had a silent conversation with their eyes. Then Deho said, Tala, hold on to my shoulders. I can carry both. That is impossible, Vic said. You cannot carry 2 people in this gravity. Watch me, Deho said. Tala climbed onto his shoulders above the professor. Deho stood. His legs shook. His biometric alarm was screaming. Pain level 9.2. But he started walking, step, step, step. He did not stop. Did not slow. His face was a mask of agony, but his pace stayed steady. Minji was not much better. Her leg was giving out. She could not properly support the Threxian student anymore, but she could drag. So she did. She wrapped her arms around the student and pulled. Step by painful step. The other students watched in horror and awe. The humans were functioning at pain levels that should have killed them. Their bodies were failing, but their minds were still working. Still problem-solving, still moving forward. How? Kel asked. His pheromones showed confusion and fear. How are you still moving? Because stopping means everyone dies, Minji said through gritted teeth. Our bodies are machines. Machines can be pushed past their limits. For a while? For a while? Vix asked. What happens after a while? We will find out, Deho said. After everyone is safe, hour 8. They saw it. The emergency cache, a small bunker on a hill. Safety survival just half a kilometer away. But that last half kilometer was the hardest. Everyone was at their absolute limit. The alien students were barely conscious. The humans were functioning on pure will. Deho's legs finally gave out 50 meters from the door. He collapsed. Tala and Professor Xanoth rolled off him. He tried to stand. Could not. His body had finally said enough. Minji reached him. Her leg was useless now. Broken again, probably worse this time. But she grabbed Tala under the arms. Dragged her toward the door. Went back for the professor. Dragged him too. Vix and Kel, somehow finding last reserves of strength, grabbed Deho. Together they pulled him inside. The door closed. The emergency beacon activated. Clean air flooded the bunker. Medical supplies were available. Everyone collapsed. Minji lay on her back, staring at the ceiling. Her biometric monitor showed critical warnings. Pain level off the charts. Stress hormones at fatal levels. Body temperature dangerous. But she was smiling slightly. We made it, she whispered. Deho was unconscious. His body had shut down to protect itself. Medical scanners showed massive damage, burns, torn muscles, joints pushed far beyond safe limits. He would need weeks of treatment, but everyone was alive. Every single student. The professor, all because 2 humans had refused to stop, had pushed their bodies past what should have been possible, had functioned through pain that would have killed most species. The rescue ship arrived 6 hours later. As they loaded the students for medical treatment, the rescue captain, an old veteran from a warrior species, looked at the humans with respect. I have seen many brave species, he said, but humans? Humans are something else. You do not just face pain. You carry it, and everyone else too. Vix, being treated for her cracked skin, looked at Minji and Deho on their medical beds. She understood now, completely. Humans did not fake suffering. They felt every bit of it. They just had learned to keep going anyway. And sometimes that was exactly what the galaxy needed, even if it was also exactly what made humans dangerous to themselves.